Hi, I'm Danielle. Welcome to my perfume journal and the November edition of Perfume Collecting for Regular People, the series where I pull back the curtain on how I've been able to enjoy being an avid perfume enthusiast on a budget. I share the ins and outs of my collection each month, along with my spending down to the penny. And in November, I had some hits and some misses. So, my first perfume purchase of the month was a hit. This is Rose Extase from Nina Ricci, a discontinued perfume that I have been waiting to show up at a good price for a very, very long time. And this is one of the ways that I keep this hobby to a budget and really enjoy it. First of all, I tend to really like a lot of older and often discontinued perfumes. It's rare nowadays that a new release catches my eye or my nose. So I have dozens of saved searches on secondhand sites like Mercari and eBay where I patiently wait for partial bottles or in some cases like new and almost full bottles to show up at a good price. This has really, really served me well. I have gotten some incredible bargains on perfumes that I either missed out on the first time around or I just really didn't want to pay full price for. And Rose Extase is one of those perfumes. So, Rose Extase was a blind buy for me and a very successful one. I actually never ever regret blind buys that I don't care for because I keep my blind buying to a maximum price that I'm willing to pay. So, like if it doesn't work out, I can always turn the perfume around and resell it, or better yet, give it to a friend or a family member. Many hobbies, perfume is a consumable one, and I don't mind if something is a flop. I don't consider it wasted money because the enjoyment is still there. The enjoyment of the discovery, the enjoyment of trying something new for the first time, the enjoyment of wearing something and seeing if it works or if it doesn't. And so, after all of this time, all of that is still as fun and enjoyable as it has ever been, even if the perfume doesn't work out for me. And who doesn't love a good bargain? So, okay, Rose Extase. To enjoy this perfume, I think you really have to like the combination of rose and vanilla, which I do. You have to like a sweet rose milk kind of a scent. I saw this perfume compared to Delina, which I do not see any similarities between those two perfumes at all. In fact, I was actually really surprised to see how much Rose Extase smells like another perfume in my collection. Hold on, I'm going to go get it. Rose Extase actually smells a lot like Blanc from Courrèges. This is one of my favorite affordable perfumes. So, where Blanc has orris and iris and heliotrope that makes it like a drier, fluffier, sweet, powdery rose, Rose Extase is creamier and sweeter with the addition of the raspberry and the vanilla and the amber. Rose Extase smells really, really pink. It reminds me of a much less sweet whipped rose and vanilla from Bath and Body Works. It does smell like air has been whipped into it, kind of like a rose meringue, but again, lighter on the vanilla, not as sweet. I really, really like this perfume. It was a worthy blind buy. It's a pretty pink, milky rose vanilla. Well worth the bargain price that I paid for it. So, next, I made my monthly discounter site order specifically because a perfume that I'd been waiting to come back into stock was finally available again. This is the perfume that sparked the order. It is Heliotrope Blanc from LT Piver. So, LT Piver is actually a brand that is making a revival. It can be found in some very, very niche shops right now. This brand has been on my radar for a long, long time because of its very inexpensive scents. So, Heliotrope Blanc comes in an EDT spray concentration, and this concentration, which is called a lotion, I'm guessing that that's more of like a splash kind of cologne. But I did read up that there is very little difference between the strength of the two. I haven't smelled the EDT spray, but this lotion concentration is actually pretty strong. You might be wondering why the bottle looks like this. When it arrived, the top was sealed tightly with some kind of like crimped metal that had to be pried off. And there was supposed to be a screw top cap in the box, but that cap was missing. And for the price, I was like, I'm not sending this back. That's silly. So I just decanted this bottle into a bunch of 10 ml atomizers that I had lying around. And it's fine because this bottle is just so pretty. It will make like a nice little bud vase. I love the vintage label. I love the French apothecary style of it. But let's talk about the perfume. So Heliotrope Blanc is heliotrope, vanilla, almond, jasmine, and ylang ylang. And I think the florals are there to just kind of like give a little bit more butteriness to the perfume because mostly what this is a creamy powdery almond. To me, this smells exactly like marzipan from beginning to end. It is super comforting. It doesn't go all the way into like Play-Doh territory, but it does kind of teeter there. It's really more marzipan-y than anything else. It's very nice, very straightforward, nutty, creamy, powdery, soft, affordable gem. Okay, so then I threw a bunch of other cheapies in this order, starting with this one that I'd been meaning to check out for a long, long time. This is Adam Levine for women. So first of all, let me get this out of the way. This is the corniest, goofiest bottle in my whole collection. This like microphone top with the black atomizer pipette looking like a cord is just silly. And normally I love silly, corny, campy stuff. Like the goofier, the better. But I don't know. I feel like this bottle was actually created to be serious. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The bottle aside, this is a really nice scent. At its core, this is a sandalwood perfume, a lovely, warm, creamy, soft sandalwood. And it's accented by some nice, light spices, along with a really great marigold note. So to me, marigolds smell like spicy and green. And then I think with that sweet, creamy sandalwood and the benzoin and the vanilla, the combination is just really nice, really balanced, really smooth. The marigold and the spice elevates this perfume from like a cheap celebrity woody scent to something a little bit different. And to me, this smells very fall-like, very much like a scarf wrapped around your shoulders. This is one of those perfumes that I'm very happy to have. I will wear it occasionally when the mood strikes. You can super overspray this because it's not very strong. So I'll probably go through this bottle quickly, but when it's gone, it's gone. But for under $10, very happy with this purchase. I also picked up Calvin Klein Beauty. The notes in this perfume reminded me a lot of another perfume that I'm currently obsessed with, which is Luminous from La Perla. So the notes in Beauty are ambrette, jasmine, and cedar, which are the exact same notes as Luminous. And so while these perfumes do have their similarities, they definitely show how note lists never really tell the whole story of what's actually in a perfume. So where Luminous has like a slightly sweet, almost like citrusy quality to it, Beauty is much woodier. I'd even say it's a little bit sharper than Luminous. It's still a very easygoing, fresh, woody floral, but still very, very nice. And I think the bottle is beautiful. I love the shape of the glass and I love the cap. It's just such a pretty, classy looking bottle. I'm not really sure yet if I'm going to keep this perfume or give it away to a friend. I really love Luminous, so I think Beauty might be a little bit redundant in my collection, and it would be like the one that I keep overlooking to reach for Luminous instead. But I'm going to give it a few more wears before I decide if this one is going to be a catch and release. I also grabbed a little roller ball of Reveal by Calvin Klein because it was like $3 and I was kind of curious about it. I have already misplaced it in my office somewhere. I put it down one day and I cannot find it, but this is what the whole bottle looks like. And I love the look of this bottle. However, I am very glad I did not go for the larger bottle based on the notes because I do not like this perfume at all. I thought the notes sounded super interesting. It was salt and pepper, ambergris, solar notes, iris, cashmere, and vetiver. But I am sorry, this perfume is just like a little bit of a mess on me. But I was sort of looking for something that was more like night at the beach with that like cool sort with a cool salty air kind of feel. So it's kind of like that, but like not in a good way. I think it's all the pepper that's in it. It just kind of like sours up the whole composition. It makes it smell sharp, almost like pickled, like vinegary. And I am honestly hoping that I don't find a roller ball of this perfume and it stays lost in my office somewhere. So unfortunately, Reveal was not a hit for me. That was a miss. So I had this really strong memory that 273 Rodeo Drive smelled like Giorgio. They are both of the same decade. They're from the 80s. They're both Beverly Hills fragrances, and they both have similar kind of like fruit, yellow, floral, woody profile. And the notes were right up my alley: peach, gardenia, jasmine, plum, tuberose, ylang ylang. There's apricot, orris, amber, sandalwood, vetiver, spices, and cedar. But my memory of this perfume from the 80s really failed me because this perfume is like way, way, way too much. It's way too syrupy and it is cloyingly sweet. I definitely get those like Giorgio vibes from this perfume. The tuberose note in this is actually quite lovely, along with the plum and the ylang ylang. But all those fruits, the peach and the apricot, they feel like they've been stewed in sugar to make like a very thick compote. And it's just so much. It's too much. So this perfume came out in 1989, and I swear it is like some kind of 1980s swan song, like a farewell tour, like, hey guys, this decade is about to come to an end. So here is the biggest, loudest, most 80s perfume to remember us by. Let's take all the perfumes ever made in this decade, let's put them in a vat and bottle them up. That's what this perfume smells like, and it is a lot. Even for me. I mean, I am a card carrying Gen Xer, and this perfume is too much for me. This was a fun scent to smell for memory's sake, for nostalgia's sake, but it's a miss, and I don't even think I don't even think I can give this one away. Okay, so then about mid-month, I had a hankering for a perfume that I had been thinking about buying for a while. I had built up some points in my account for a nice discount, so I grabbed this 50 ml bottle of Musc Noir Rose from Narciso Rodriguez. I think this is such a pretty perfume. It is plum, tuberose, vanilla, and suede. Rose isn't even one of the listed notes, but there has to be some rose in here. And if there isn't rose, or at least a rose accord, it is certainly a very rosy perfume. This perfume was super duper hyped a while ago. I never had a chance to smell it until quite a while after the hype died down. And when I did, I remember thinking, yep, I get it. This is so incredibly mass appealing, so easy to wear, just a beautiful, sweet, creamy, musky, suede floral. It is lovely, and I'm very glad that I waited to grab this at a phenomenal price. And then to get free shipping on my order, I threw in a bottle of Guess 1981. It had that luminous or beauty kind of scent profile that I seem to be super drawn to lately. It is ambrette, violet, jasmine, pear, sandalwood, amber, cedarwood, and musk. So I like this a lot more than beauty, but not as much as luminous. It's fresh and clean. It's cleaner than both of those perfumes, likely from the pear. It is a totally effortless perfume. So this is one that I will have to throw in my bag when I wear it because it needs to be reapplied literally like every 2 hours. This does not last one little bit, even if you overspray it on your clothes. It is extremely fleeting, but it is really nice. So I will probably blow through this bottle in no time, and I am okay with that. I'm very glad I tried this one out, and I will enjoy it right down to the last drop. Okay, so this month I moved along my bottle of Perry Ellis Woman. That was just a little too musty of a woody floral for me to keep. I moved along one of my Dossier perfumes. There's something that they use in those perfumes that I find like absolutely screechy. And then I moved along my bottle of Romance Elixir from Ralph Lauren. There was just something in that perfume that made me feel a little bit queasy, and it's a shame because I love a raspberry rose, but the more I wore this one, the less I liked it, so off it went. Okay, so on to the dollars and cents of the month of November. So my fun money budget for my perfume hobby is $100 to $150 a month. And I say this in every single video. I will never stop saying it. I recognize that it is a massive privilege to have any fun money to spend at all. That is not the case for everyone. It was definitely not always the case for me. It is something I'm very grateful for. I never take it for granted, no matter how hard I work for it. So this month I spent a total of $188.68 on my perfume hobby. A little bit over budget again this month, but I did bring in $147.13. So if you've been keeping up with my perfume math, as I call it, that is a total of $41.55 that I spent in new money. This year, I really wanted to make sure I wasn't just like keeping perfumes around just to keep them around, that I rotated things out of my collection I wasn't reaching for. It has been really, really fun to give perfumes away to friends and family. I like doing that as much as I like refunding my perfume purchases with declutter sales. People get so excited to try a new perfume, and I love sharing the perfume love. I think it's one of the best things about this hobby. So that's it for the month of November. And I will also add in that with the holidays coming up for me, I will not be buying any perfume at all in the month of December. Probably. No, I won't be. I never really buy much for myself in December because I set the extra money aside to add to my gifting budget for the month. And I usually get a bottle of perfume or two for Christmas anyway. So when this video comes out again in December, I will be recapping all of my spending for the entire year. It's going to be interesting to see how much money I spent in all, how much money I brought in, and then what the bottom line looks like in terms of my overall budget. And then I will make the big decision on whether I will keep my budget as is or if I will increase it a little bit for 2026. But either way, I will definitely continue to do this series in the new year. This is the second year that I've done this series. And in 2026, that will make it year 3 of this project. And I plan to keep it going. So please let me know if there is anything you would like to see me talk about in this series. I started it in the hopes that it would be helpful to others and also kind of like normalize the idea that it's very, very possible to be an avid perfume enthusiast on a budget. And that can look different for everyone. It might look like saving up for one more expensive bottle or buying a whole bunch of affordable bottles or a combination of both of those things. Personally, I do a little bit of both myself, and it has served me well for many, many years. So thank you so much for watching, for spending your time here with me, and for chatting perfumes with me in the comments. I hope you have a really great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.